Has it been like forever since it feels like forever since I've gone YouTube video. I I watched a couple of the other ones, and it's funny, I was so sick. I don't even know how I did those. Good thing to come from that is I learned that doing these videos in bed, absolutely a thing. Absolutely gonna happen. So I guess part of it, it can't all be fun and games and funny all the time, even though I'm hilarious. Is talking about like real things. And I think that's important to talk about if I'm going to do this, is talk. And I want to talk, I guess, get into like the last year that I've had, which was a hard one. My mom died, my grandma died. This Sunday, Mother's Day, is the first anniversary of my grandma's death. So I'm going to get into that. And another funny thing is that when things like these things happen, you learn real quick who's on your side and who isn't, who's there for you, who isn't. Because let me tell you what, 100% of the people tell you they're there for you no matter what. And that's not the case. And then it's funny because there's people that you didn't even know and they're like right there for you. I'm just like, wow. So yeah, I definitely lost some friends, lost some relationships, made some new friends. But it's kind of a good thing. I think some relationships were probably toxic, and I let them take away. I let them. I want to be who I am, and I think I let people take that away from me. So leave it at that. So anyways, since my grandma died on May 12th, the story of her death is actually really, really traumatic. It's a hard thing to talk about. It's hard to talk about. It's going to be hard to listen to. Spoiler alert. I took my glasses off too, because not only do I burn insects when I look at the sidewalk, I felt like I was burning people's screens if they were watching. Yeah, Coke bottle thick. Blind as a bat. And the story when my grandma, and I've told a few people this, but my grandma was 98 years old. And she was in very great health. She was just old. I get it. That's what old people do. They die. But she was in perfect health. And she just all of a sudden collapsed right in front of me. And I called 911. Well, first, she had no pulse right away. I knew she was gone. You kind of know these things. And I know CPR, I know first aid and that. I'll get into that. I called 911 and I said, my grandmother has just died. And they're trying to tell me to start CPR. And I'm looking at grandma who's, 98, first of all. She weighs soaking wet 95 pounds probably. And if she's 5'1", if I were to do CPR correctly, if whatever didn't kill her, old age, that would probably kill her. And I said, no, I can't do that. I can't bring myself to do it. I knew she was dead. And, which, don't get me wrong, if there was something, if I knew she wasn't, if I knew, it would have been different. But my house quickly, it was just like minutes later, like filled up. Cops, EMS, fire trucks. And I remember I was in the corner and I just kind of collapsed on the floor, just collapsed, crying and saying, what the hell? What is happening? How? She was fine today. She was yelling at me to get her coffee faster. She was fine. And a couple of cops, they took me, they were like, you don't need to see this. You don't need to see this, which I'm glad about. Yeah, you don't want to see that. But they did CPR and shocked her for over an hour. And there was nothing they could do, obviously. And they came back, they explained it, and I was like, well, what? Well, how? It's weird because I know 98. That's a long life. Like, what do you think happened? I knew that I didn't do anything. I knew that she hadn't been sick. I knew it's an age thing. And I kept asking them, well, where's the medical examiner? What if this is my fault? I was saying that. I'm just, all these thoughts. And they said, she's very well taken care of. She's very healthy. For her age, she looks great. She's just 98 years old. So there was that. And that was it, traumatic in the sense that you don't want to see or hear somebody like getting CPR for over an hour. Let me tell you, you know, you watch Grey's Anatomy and ER and you hear like the defibrillator, the zzz, bam. Take that noise, multiply it by like 1,000. That's how loud it is. You don't want to hear somebody getting shocked over and over and over again. It's a bad thing. So I would say that, yeah, there's still a lot of trauma. I still think about that. I still have bad dreams about that. It's still upsetting. And that's also where this year has been. And like I said, not easy to talk about, not easy to listen to. But why not? I figure I'm an open book. And yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to be like downhill, but it's going to be funny. And, you know, you win some, you lose some. And people that have left my life in the last year, you know what? I'm quickly learning. One of the things I've learned from everything is that I'm just too much for some people. Funny thing though, those aren't my people. So there.